Floyd, that was so beautiful. Well, we read in The Way of the Heart, your Creator's only creation is you, the truth of you. For you are love. And God creates only that which is like unto himself, and God is only love. Though every moment in every day of every month in every year is the perfect time for us to focus on the love that we are, the love that is everywhere. February, with a whole day, Valentine's Day, dedicated to love, seems to be the perfect month when love is in the air, everywhere, on purpose. Now, it's important for us to quietly ponder and accept that we are created by love to be only love. In fact, that's the only place to start. If we want to become more and more aware of the love that we are and our purpose for expanding that love forever. But Valentine's Day seems to call our attention to the expectation of our expressing the love that we are in a more obvious way by showing our love to those we love. We could say Valentine's Day is a call to action, to expressing our love in a more tangible and perhaps commercial way by giving cards and flowers and gifts and candy to those we love. As the poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who wrote so much about love, might have put it when referring to Valentine's Day, how do I love thee? Let me count the chocolates. Now, in a world that often appears so unloving, it's easy for us to feel unloving along with it, to root against parts of it and rage against other parts that seem to lack love. But when we do, when we root against and rage against, we become an expression of that lack of love. Now, we may be thinking, as we often think, that we have our reasons, and we always do have our reasons, but we're created to love unreasonably and to be only love no matter what. So what does that mean as we live in this human environment? Well, in The Way of the Heart, we read this. For love is indeed patient and kind. Love is not deluded, and love does not allow delusion. Love embraces all things, trusts all things, and allows all things. It knows perfectly well where it is going and never ceases in that journey until every blade of grass is released from casting shadows and the whole of creation is returned to the heart of God. Love never forgets its purpose, and love is always on purpose. Now, if we were created not to love, if we weren't created by love to love unconditionally, then when we weren't feeling the love that we are, we'd still feel good. I don't love that, and I don't love that, and I don't love them, and I don't love him or her, and I feel good. But that's not true, because we don't. We all know that there isn't one unloving thought or word or action of ours that causes us to feel good. We do it, but we don't feel good about it. The love we are doesn't depend on the behavior of others or on our being loved in return. In order for it to be expressed by us. And since we're created only to love, when we don't, when we withhold it for whatever reason, it's painful. All we need to express the love that we are, the love that heals the world, is to give up all of our reasons not to love. Reasoning is an action of the mind. And our mind can and often is be deluded and believe things that just aren't true. Loving is an action of our heart, and our heart knows only love. The poet Rumi wrote, "Our greatest strength lies in the gentleness and tenderness of our heart." Ours is to love unconditionally, without needing a reason. To be love because love is what we are no matter what. For us to try to love anyone that we've already reasoned is unlovable is like our trying to be someone else. It really can't be done. Ours is to love on purpose. To be an expression of love, whether we are alone, loving ourselves, or in a crowd, loving everyone around us. When we allow love to be the most active part of our awareness, that love extends into the world around us. It sees the world through our heart, and it sees whoever is before us, whether they are before us in person or they're before us on the news, as love's creation in a fleshy disguise. Now, you may or may not remember that I've talked several times at least about my longtime friend, Sally, who lives on a tiny peninsula in Washington State. And recently, as I've talked about her, I've referred to her as my 92-year-old friend. So before I go any further, I promised her I'd correct this. Sally, who shares a birth date with Ernest Holmes, made it to 90, as she put it, this past January 21st. Now, when she and I talked on her birthday, she told me that a question kept coming to her mind. And it was, what is my purpose for being alive at 90? And I said, what a great question. She said, it is. And I said, do you know how many people live their entire lives in this world never asking that question, whether they're 40 or 60 or 90? Abraham Hicks tells us nobody else knows your reason for being, but you do. and your bliss guides you to it. When you follow your bliss, when you follow your path of joy, you're right on the path of that which you intended when you came forth into this physical body. Now, when we were growing up, we probably wanted to be all sorts of things. And maybe we were even told who we ought to be and what we ought to be when we grew up. But there's a difference between growing up, growing old, and growing within. We grow within by following our path of joy, the path we intended to follow when we came into this physical expression and into this physical environment. It's the GPS that has been placed in our heart, and only our heart can guide us to where we want to go and where we intended to go. Now, Sally's always been a happy, loving, funny person for the past 40 years that I've known her. At 90, her mind is clear and curious and inquisitive. And she's passionate about birds and dogs and gardening and water, whether it's a hot tub or the ocean. I have no doubt she'll still be living her life on purpose, following her bliss when she is actually 92, if she chooses to. If our desire is to fulfill our reason for being here, if our desire is to live a life we enjoy living in a world we enjoy living it in, if our desire is to have a whole lot of fun and experience vitality and prosperity and wellness and friendship and love and relationships and all the things that make up the life we came into this physical expression to experience, then we need to make loving life and loving ourselves in life our top priority. The Hindu spiritual teacher Swami Sivananda wrote, "There is no virtue higher than love. There is no treasure higher than love. There is no knowledge higher than love." And for today, we can say there is no purpose higher than love. Love is truth. Love is God. Love makes the world go around on purpose, with us on it. And love expands the universe on purpose, with us in it. Our being an individual awareness or consciousness that expands along with the universe, our being a place and a space through which the love of God and the joy of creation unfolds and manifests on earth, is an amazing purpose for being alive. We don't need to do anything to find our purpose. The more we open to the question, why am I here and what is mine to do, the more our purpose flows into our awareness. Dennis Merritt Jones wrote recently, "Purpose is a living, breathing thing which finds us when we allow it to. The greatest part of the mystery of living in a human skin lies in the fact that as we deeply and emotionally evolve, so too does our sense of purpose." I mean, we all came here on purpose. And as we follow our path of joy, we live that purpose on purpose. Our bliss, whatever it is that causes joy to arise in us, and it is uniquely ours, will guide us along the path we intended to follow when we came into this physical world. This world, at this time, with all its contrast and all the media outlets that allow us to see that contrast anytime we choose to, lets us know, if we open to it, that our birth was no accident. We came in as we did, when we did, with the intention of expanding our awareness that we are only love. And to see the allness of love at this time. It's the perfect place for us to discover that no matter what's going on in the world, in the news, in our neighborhood, in our other countries, in our country, that we can choose love, no matter what. Dennis went on to say, one's purpose is not a singular point at which we arrive after we've finally grabbed the brass ring. Being on purpose is always a present moment experience. Every moment we choose love, we're living on purpose. And every time we choose not to love, we're not doing anything on purpose. Our purpose is expressed not so much in what we do, but the awareness with which we do whatever we do. We either do what we do, whatever it is, whether it's just simply walking down the street or walking outside, but we either do what we do intentionally with the purpose of expressing the love that we are in every opportunity that we get to have. Or we live by default with thoughts and words and actions that we take, that we don't do on purpose, but cause us to regret them just the same. Whatever we're curious about, whatever we're passionate about, guides us to the moment and the fulfillment of living on purpose. Passion and curiosity are energies, and we're all energy conductors. And we're always emitting energy of some sort every moment of every day. We consciously direct our energy by watching our mind and the thoughts that arise within it so that we can change the thoughts that don't serve us in being who we came here to be. How we go about living on purpose in this physical environment is found in the opportunities we call to ourselves, pleasant or unpleasant. People and conditions and connections and situations that, like it or not, if we allow them to, will open our awareness to love in a deeper, less conditional, more expansive way. To be a self that just loves, that sends love before we're there, that extends love all around us. Abraham Hicks tells us This is how you know you're living on purpose. You're happy. You're balanced. You have vitality. You're coordinated. You have clarity. You have humor. You have interest in life. You feel love. You want more. You feel eager. You feel ready, and you are willing, and you are able of accomplishing anything that comes to you. Let that be what you show yourself first. And once you've tuned into those feelings that feel like that, then move around in your world. And then we'll have no doubt that whatever we're doing it on purpose. Namaste.